So today we'll finally find out who's going to be the latest additions to the Baseball Hall of Fame, which means for the past 48 hours, we've been subjected to one story after another about whether or not Ken Griffey will become the first ever unanimous selection to the Hall of Fame. Seriously, it's not going to happen because even though I have my qualms with the baseball electorate, the Baseball Writers of America, the electorate that's responsible for the voting, somebody will be smart enough to deny him the right to be a unanimous player. And I say they should deny him. Because listen, if the immortals of this game, the greats that played long before you or I were even around, if we couldn't have one of them being a unanimous pick, let's say DiMaggio, Ruth, Gehrig, Ty Cobb, we can stop there, can't we? If those guys weren't unanimous, what the hell is Ken Griffey going to be being made a unanimous pick? Listen, it's beyond comprehension to me how the greatest percentage in terms of a vote getter in the Hall of Fame elections, the greatest percentage vote getter was Tom Seaver. I mean, Tom Seaver was a dominant pitcher for his era, collected a lot of his baseball cards, watched him pitch against Steve Carlton many, many times. It seemed like every Sunday afternoon back in the 70s when I was a kid, I'd turn on Channel 17 in Philadelphia, and it seemed like Carlton and Seaver were hooking up on a Sunday afternoon, which meant Tommy Hutton was playing first base because he always had a knack of hitting Seaver, and it also meant the game was over in 2 hours and 6 minutes, okay? But how the hell did Seaver get the highest percentage in history? That's just beyond comprehension to me. A little over 98-point-some%. The highest percentage among position players, Cal Ripken Jr. Okay, I mean, I can see that. Cal Ripken Jr. There have been a few other pretty good position players over the year. But listen, the Baseball Writers Association of America, they're a fickle group as far as I'm concerned. So many years ago, I'm the managing editor of a sports wire service. The Baseball Writers Association would always pre-release the guys who made the cut so you could prepare stories and have them ready to go. And often what you would do, pre-release, you'd embargo the story, which means you'd send out the story over the wire. You know, if the release time was at 2 o'clock, you'd embargo it to 2 o'clock, but you'd be able to release it like at 1:45. They wouldn't release it to us early. Would not release it to me early because we were running odds on our feed. My God, we were running Las Vegas odds. Yes, shudder at the thought. We were a gambling organization in their eyes. Yes, we ran odds and we ran injuries. You know, the same things that you hear talked about on ESPN every single day today, that noted network carrier of Major League Baseball. Times have changed. But anyway, hopefully Mike Piazza will get in today. He should be in today. There is a guy who it's always been assumed that he used steroids. Many people argued that he must have been using steroids, and that, of course, was a black mark against him getting into the Hall of Fame here in recent years in terms of his votes acquired. And yet there's a guy who never tested positive. He never had his name linked to any of the reports where suspected users were made out, or I should say outed publicly. And yet it's almost like he has this scarlet letter because he played in that era, which I kind of find is funny because I think let me just quickly look up his numbers here online. I just had a story about Piazza. Piazza, what did he do? Played 16 years in the majors, had 427 home runs. Now, listen, guys, if he was doing steroids, I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, you should have had more than 427 home runs in 16 years if you were juicing up. Just something to consider. Tim Raines, there's a guy, boy, there was a 5-6 year stretch when he was first with the Montreal Expos that he was such a dominant player. I hope he gets in because I have a lot of his baseball rookie cards and it'll eventually increase their value down the road. Trevor Hoffman, I don't know why he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. I'm just not a big fan of relief pitchers and the latter day era getting in there. Alan Trammell, a guy who, because he wasn't flashy, didn't have 3,000 hits, but you tell me that Alan Trammell and Lou Whitaker went the best double play combination during the 70s when they were with the Detroit Tigers. And there's a guy that just consistently produced. I think he had like 2,200 hits in his career. So anyway, we'll see. What the hell? Move on. Let's talk some basketball. Now, I know this may come to you as a little bit of a surprise, but Chuck O'Brien won again yesterday. Yes. My God, I'm going to find some other handicappers who have been gone for 3 years and want to come back and start working at the site. What a phenomenal run he has been on. Yesterday, another 59 winner. The Houston Cougars, college basketball, 10.5-point home favorite. They won 63-45 over Tulane, and you got it as the half-price play of the day. Just like Monday's 50-dime winner, Wisconsin Green Bay, with a huge second-half rally over Wright State, another half-price play of the day. 50-dime plays have been his highest-rated release since he came back to this site after a near 3-year absence. Today, he's going for 50-dime winner number 14 out of 18. And it's in college basketball again, and he is 7-0 with those plays in college basketball, and you've got every single one of them for at least half price off. Today, Road Warrior Lock of the Month, backing a road team in college basketball to get the cover, and for the third straight day, it's the half price play of the day. And you get it simply by using coupon code ROAD, R-O-A-D, R-O-A-D, as he goes for winning day number 25 out of 40 overall and 7 of the past 9. Of course, since the charity play of the week won today, remember it's still in coupon is still in progress. Save $125 off the purchase price of any handicapper's 30-day package by using coupon code SAVE125, S-A-V-E125, and you can save $50 off the purchase price of any handicapper's 7-day package by using coupon code SAVE50, S-A-V-E50. I'm doing this report. What time is it? Wow, it's 3:30 in the morning. Doing this video report for you at 3:30 in the morning, so I have no idea what any of the other handicappers have going, so you have to check back a little later. I'm trying to knock this all out of the way. Did my handicapping here because today Coachella tickets go on sale. Of course, I had the pre-sale like a year ago. Who knew that Guns N' Roses would be there? Not that I'm a Guns N' Roses fan, but I promised my son and his friends I'd try to get him tickets. So I will be sitting here with my credit cards on 2 computers, accessing the site, waiting to get in at 2 o'clock Eastern time to try to buy Coachella tickets today. The things you do sometimes as a father, right? You guys know what I mean. Okay, let's get to your complimentary plays. I'm going to go with Xavier, minus the 15 points. 9 o'clock Eastern time tip-off. Xavier taking on St. John's. Listen, I think this is an important game for the Musketeers because they opened up Big East play on the road and they got crushed at Villanova. Their first loss of the season, 95-64. Now, I was impressed with the way they came back home, took care of business against Butler 88-69 on Saturday. In fact, I used them as a pre-play on Saturday. They were playing once again without their starting point guard, Edmund Summer, who was averaging like 11 points and 3.1 assists a game. He took a nasty fall in the Villanova game, missed the game against Butler, is going to remain out tonight. But this Xavier team still has so much offensive firepower. On the other hand, you have a Red Storm team that's coming off an 83-65 loss at Providence on Saturday, a game in which they shot 36.5% from the field and only hit 15% of their 3-point shots. They lost their last home game to Creighton in their Big East opener on Thursday, 80-70. In fact, they have lost 5 straight since beating Syracuse back on December 13th. Only 2 wins this season against teams with winning records, Syracuse and Wagner they beat. This is not a very good offensive team. This is a team totally different than last year. Not only is Chris Mullen new as the head coach, but they lost all 5 starters from last year's team, plus Steve Lavin as their coach at the time. The Storm simply can't score points. They're averaging 66.9 points a game. I'm going to go, once again, with Xavier. I'm just thinking that the Musketeers tonight have to get that bitter taste of that road loss to Villanova out of their mouth. And that was their first loss of the season as well. Another game for you here on the late night card. I'm going to go to the... I was thinking of doing Fordham against LaSalle, but every time I go against LaSalle, it seems I lose. So instead, I'm going to take a look at the Oregon State-Stanford game. Listen, Oregon State off to a very nice 10-2 start. This is a team that last year had to play a slow-down style of play because most of the season they only had 7 scholarship players. But this year, they're healthier. They're a much deeper team. They're willing to run the floor, play a little more aggressive, up-tempo style game. But, of course, they're still very stingy defensively. And you saw the best of both worlds when they shocked Oregon with ease Saturday in their Pac-12 opener. 70-57 the win. Not bad performance considering they were coming off a 13-day layoff. Ducks, a team that had averaged nearly 78 points a game coming into this game on Saturday and shooting over 46% from the field. They only hit like 36% of their shots, and again, they lost the game 70-57. Now, Stanford comes in here tonight. Stanford is near the bottom of the Pac-12 standings when it comes to offense. This is not a very good offensive team. Have some injuries they're contending with as well. Stanford 1-6 against the spread. Its last 7 on the road. But the Cardinal have dominated this series. They've covered 13 of the last 17. Oregon State, by virtue of beating Oregon, suddenly this number is inflated, 6.5 points. Wouldn't surprise me to see this number actually come down to 6 as people jump on Stanford, because that's what I'm going to recommend you do as well. I just think this is a spot where Oregon State should win this game, but I think it's going to be a 3 or 4 point game. And I think the Beavers are going to be in a little bit of a letdown situation because they're still celebrating that huge win to open conference play over Oregon the other day. So, Stanford, again, not a high-scoring team, lowest in the Pac-12 in scoring, only 71.5 points a game. I think they're going to slow down the tempo of this game. I think Oregon State's going to be more than happy there to do so as well. And again, I think it's a 3 or 4 point game, so I think the underdog is the way to go, with the other complimentary play being Xavier. That'll do it, guys. Best of luck to you all, and I'll catch you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.